Good afternoon and a warm welcome to one and all. My name is Prasad Patkar and I'm the editor of SMEVenture. Before we start, a quick heads up for our attendees. You will have the opportunity to submit text questions to today's presenters by typing your questions into the question pane of the control panel. You may send in your questions at any time during the presentation. We will collect this and address them at the end of today's presentation. IBM and SMEVenture are pleased to introduce Unravelling Security. This series will provide the opportunity to engage in real time with expert speakers from IBM and play a part in the conversation. Prepare to be fully immersed in discussion bursting with demos, presentations, informed perspectives, and eye-opening insights. This is the first in the series, and the focus this time is on XDR, or Extended Detection and Response. In our discussions with enterprises and OEMs alike, this is increasingly getting a lot of traction. In this session, we wanted to break away from the usual presentation style delivery. So we'll be doing a live role play. And for this, we have with us Mr. Kapil Sareen, CISO of a fictitious enterprise, and Mr. Pradeep Vasudevan, Threat Management Leader, IBM Security. Kapil is an existing QRadar customer, like most of you, and has approached Pradeep on how he can take threat detection to the next level. So let's pick it up from there.
Thank you, Prasad. Good afternoon, all. Can you hear me, Prasad? Just wanted to make sure.
Yes, I do, Kapil.
Great. So, hi, Pradeep. Thank you for being, for showing up at such a short notice. I really appreciate. As you know, I am satisfied with my QRadar deployment, but I am also worried, Pradeep, that the cybersecurity landscape outside is constantly evolving. Given the volume of security alerts that exist today, there is a huge quantity of data that's flowing from the network, applications, endpoint, and cloud. My team, is overwhelmed. I get a feeling that time-consuming threat investigations are slowing me and my team down. In fact, I think we must improve the visibility across data sources. I would really like to know your thoughts on how we can do so, Pradeep.
Yeah, thank you so much, Kapil, and thanks for being with us. This has been a long journey, working with your team, creating a roadmap for your SOC environment, and you have been with us. You see a lot of things changing over the last 5-6 years, and the challenges keep changing every time, right? You have seen it, and in the last two couple of years time, there is a dramatic change in the complexity of the environment that you will also admit. Now, many siloed tools that have come in, working together, trying to address a lot of critical issues. And another major issue is in terms of the poor visibility that you get because of a lot of new environments coming in, springing up new cloud deployments, right? You have different cloud vendors coming and sharing. You are taking multiple services from them. So the speed at which the digital transformation has taken up has increased the complexity and reduced the visibility across these platforms, which poses a real threat of missing threads by just because of using the traditional approach. Okay, and definitely there is a continuous struggle to keep up with bad actors in the network, bad actors in the environment. So this is not something unique to you. This is something that we have been seeing across, right? Across different customers from different industries, right? The complexity and the problems keep increasing, and trying to catch up or trying to catch up each other with the bad actors. Now, what is the approach, right? How can organization manage and modernize the threat detection and response? That's the core purpose of the Security Operations Center and the SOC team, right? We have a couple of numbers, studies that shows that 59% of the organizations say that cybersecurity has become more and more difficult in the last 2 years. Thanks to whatever changing scenarios in terms of remote working, diminishing perimeters, fast or a very rapid pace of digital transformation. Now, from a looking at it from a point of view of how do we modernize this, right? How can we address this? At a high level, we see there are three approaches. The first one is to reduce, or no, I won't say eliminate, rather reduce the number of siloed applications, so that you get visibility across data, across different data sources. It could be on-premise, it could be on cloud. Second, having a unified workflow, right? Different tools that have been used in the SOC environment. It could be a SIM, it could be your response platform, it could be your network detection platform, your cloud security platform. Everything comes with its own workflows, right? Having a unified workflow is something which is super critical and most important for making sure that your effectiveness of SOC operations has been brought in place. And the third, the most important and most critical requirement is to bring in certain amount of element of automation to the work, right? The concept is very simple. Whatever that can be given to a machine to do, let the machine do their job. Okay. Idea is to automate whatever that can be automated, like machine language or artificial intelligence. Make use of them to reduce as much as manual tasks. Okay. Let machines do the heavy lifting and the regular mundane tasks, and leave the complex tasks to the SOC analyst. Okay, so these are the three approaches that we believe in general can bring a major change in the way you operate your SOC and bring certain amount of streamliness into the call operations. Now, the most important question that you see, and we hear a lot of things in the market about XDR, right? Everybody's talking about XDR. Definitely, there is a reason. It's not just a hype that you hear that no XDR. Extended detection and response is the way forward. And how can XDR make a change, right? XDR is, rather, I don't look at it in XDR as a tool, right? It's an approach, right? Similar to what we call it as zero trust. It's more of an approach. There are multiple ways to achieve that. There are four key aspects to XDR. Okay, how XDR can make a change in your environment. One is bringing some amount of integration or unification. So unify your endpoints, cloud, network infrastructure, applications to get better visibility and have a single point of visibility, right? So you have a single protection, investigation, and response user experience across all these platforms. Second, we have to leverage, right? It helps you to leverage and augment the value of your whatever EDR, SIM platforms, network detection and response platform you use, SOAR tools that you have, the threat intelligence. So it could be coming from different vendors, different OEMs. How do you leverage all of them, right? How do you harness all these capabilities to get best out of it? That's an XDR approach. Third, modernize and consolidate all the capabilities, and it gives you a comfortable roadmap, right? Start with somewhere, add more and more capabilities, and take it to a path where you can bring in as much as possible into a single point of view. Fourth, as I rightly mentioned at the beginning, automation. Automate whatever you can automate, right? Automate in terms of enrichment of data, correlations, investigation, and response, right? Make use of the AI and ML capabilities. So these are the four aspects. The way we look at it now, XDR can bring value into the organization, especially on the SOC operations. right? So Kapil, I hope I addressed your question.
Indeed, Pradeep. That was a very comprehensive response, as I've come to associate with you at IBM. So Pradeep, that is one more scenario that we are facing today. In addition to QRadar, Pradeep, we also have an XDR solution from a non-IBM vendor. Can this really be integrated with QRadar? Is that something we can do?
Okay, so the approach or the philosophy of IBM is not to uh, put any particular, any of our customers or any of our clients insisting that no, see, you have to come with IBM and you have to rip and repair all your existing technologies if you want to take your path, right? IBM is a proponent of open technologies, right? And we strongly believe in having an open ecosystem. And the way we have designed the IBM XDR approach is to leverage on the existing investment that you have done. Okay, so it doesn't matter whether you are using a another EDR solution, you must be using a separate NDR tool. It will be a different SOAR platform that you're using. Fourth thing that we take it to the market and take it to our customers. The way IBM looks at XDR is an open connected approach, which means we are open to integrate with any of the existing technologies, right? That's a journey. We are still adding more and more platforms into the integration to the QRadar XDR. When I say connected, integration with the existing tools. It could be IBM, it could be non-IBM tools, right? It could be any of these technologies. It could be your SOAR, it could be the third-party threat intelligence that you will be using. Second, which are the technologies that you are using, right? What are the group of technologies that you are using in the SOC? We want to bring a unified approach, a single user experience across different tools without ripping and replacing it. Okay, you continue using whatever the tool that you are using. IBM will help you bringing a single unified view across all this platform. I will get into the details of this now, what kind of technologies that we can integrate. Third, bringing intelligence into the existing platform, right? Without touching what is already there, we are actually leveraging on the IBM's AI capability, right? To use, to bring effectiveness or bring speed into the investigation, bring depth into the investigation, and mapping it against MITRE attack frameworks. There are purpose-built AI and pre-built playbooks. How do we leverage it? How do we use these capabilities on the existing technologies? Fourth, as I mentioned, being an open technology, we are introducing or we are already in the market with an adaptable architecture. Okay, the purpose is to avoid lock-in with a particular vendor. You have the complete flexibility and freedom to pick and choose what are the best solutions that you believe are in the market, right, which you are already using, without scrapping that investment. Okay, leveraging best out of what we have already invested in, right? That's what IBM believes in. I will just take a couple of minutes on how IBM is achieving this. Three aspects that you get out of using IBM XDR Connect, QRadar XDR Connect. One, you get enhanced insights into your current SOC platform with the help of whatever platform, whatever tools that you're using. Second, taking help of IBM AI and ML capability to quickly automated threat investigation and threat response, incident response, right? So we are accelerating the threat hunting capability. Third, leveraging your existing security tools with an open approach. So as I mentioned earlier, IBM is one of the proponents of the Open Cybersecurity Alliance, and we have introduced the concept of keeping the platform open for integration, right? different vendors who are good at their own way of doing things can work together against a common enemy, which is the bad actors in the environment. Right? Yeah, just taking a little bit into the details of how the open connected approach works. I'm looking at a couple of technology areas. One is EDR. Most of you must be using your own EDR platform. It could be some of the industry leading technologies like I have listed here. It could be CrowdStrike, it could be Trend Micro, Carbon Black, it could be IBM's own Reactor. IBM has acquired one of the leading niche players in EDR called Reactor, and highly
about
platform, right? And it could be any of the SIM platform you are using. Need not be a curator platform. It could be you must be already using Splunk, or it could be ArcSight, right? And this list will keep increasing. And when it comes to network detection and response, you must be already using, say, IBM NDR platform, which is our Q&I, packet capture, flow analytics. It could be Darktrace, right? When it comes to SOAR, there are a lot of platforms available in the industry. It could be Palo Alto Demisto, Splunk, Secure, ServiceNow, and same is the case of threat intel, right? You must be using one of the industry leading platform of IBM Expose. It could be Alien Vault, it could be Mandiant, right? Virus Total. Again, when it comes to platforms, it could be you must be using AWS, Azure, Google Cloud. You must be using BigFix patch management, vulnerability management, Tenable VM platform. So a whole lot of technologies, right? You must have a combination of this. Now, how do you make sense of all of them working together? That's where IBM QRadar XDR comes into picture. QRadar XDR works as a layer on top of all this platform, integrate all of them, bringing a unified visibility and leveraging IBM's AI capability into detection and response. Okay, this is in a nutshell what we do, right? Whatever the technologies that you are currently using, with the help of open integrations, okay, we are able to bring a unified visibility and response platform. So that is IBM XDR approach. Right.
That's very interesting.
Yeah.
Indeed, Pradeep, because I clearly see, in fact, that would have been my next question anyways. I clearly see, our security, our organization has security tools from multiple of these vendors, right? It's a complex world today, as you also would agree, because the attacks are becoming extremely complex. We have more and more tools being deployed to address the complexity and scale of attacks. But there are also challenges around skills, and a lot of what you've said, Pradeep, revolved primarily around investigation, if I could term it that way. I saw in multiple of your slides, this one and the previous one, you speak about SOAR. So what about incident response? How can we? I personally feel that most of my incident response activities are too manual. They're probably slow and inconsistent because of being manual. So how can I reduce the amount of time spent to respond to and remediate complex cyber attacks? Is that something you feel we can talk about, Pradeep, here?
Yes, Kapil. Couple of these problems that you have mentioned, it's common across our customers, right? Common across industry. The complexity of attacks, skill set, right? Growing demand for skills, that is a major challenge, right? Because of various technologies coming together, we expect a lot of people to have that mixed experience, right? People to have experience in most of these technologies. And third, and the most important thing is to have the security compliance and regulatory mandates. Now, we all know about GDPR, and a lot of different organizations, a lot of different countries are coming with their own privacy regulations. We are also expecting the same thing in India, India-specific privacy regulations, and the response requirements as per those regulatory requirements, right? Regulatory obligations. Now, how do you respond, and how do you respond to these requirements? And the last one is in terms of number of security tools that you use in the environment. This is unavoidable, right? You cannot live without all these technology tools because each one is designed and purpose for a particular requirement. It could be securing your cloud, securing your network, providing visibility, securing your endpoints. You have to live with that problem. Now, how can you improve your efficiency in terms of living with all these technologies, living with all this regulatory compliance and requirements, living with the fact that there are now skill shortage in the market, right? That's when security orchestration and response, automation orchestration and response plays a big role. And if you see in the last couple of years, there's a huge demand for bringing certain level of orchestration and response into the SOC operations. Now, what is it expected to do? It is expected to reduce the impact and the duration of the cyber attack, right? Second, to optimize the number of resources that are required, or the team size that is required, or the skill set that is required, right? Third, to address the bureau's reporting or the compliance related requirements. And fourth is to make the maximum utilization of whatever investment that you have already done. So in general, this is what every customer is looking for when they are looking at a SOAR platform, right? Make the best out of it, increase the efficiency, right, and respond faster. Now, what IBM SOAR, IBM Curator SOAR offers, while there are, most of the customers must be using different technologies, but there are a lot of customers who actually use IBM Curator SOAR platform because of the kind of integration, the kind of level of easiness that we have brought in, okay, and the continuously adapted security and the privacy framework. The fundamental requirement here is to streamline your SOC process with automated and intelligent response, right? One, you are empowering, you are helping your security operations team with additional amount of information that is required for you to respond with a certain level of certainty, right? Do you have all the artifacts with you? Am I collecting all the required artifacts, right? Do I have enough information with me to respond? Okay, that's one of the areas where your SOAR platform can help you. Second is to automate. Whatever that you can automate, what are the mundane tasks, what are the time-taking activities, which may not be really critical, but is a necessary activity that takes time. Can I automate that, right? Can I reduce the time required for the response plan? And third is to collaborate across different teams, across different technologies, and making sure that there is a systematic process in place when I respond, when I work with the different teams. Do I have a set of defined processes? Okay. As a newcomer into the team, I don't have to spend time, or I don't want to spend time in learning the complex processes. I want the process to be in place and the system to take care of the process. So these are the three aspects: faster response, automation, and collaboration. So this is what we bring into the SOC operations with the help of automation and response platform.
So Pradeep, I'm just trying to, structure our conversation. So essentially, we spoke about uh, the threat investigation part. We spoke about the openness of your platform to integrate with some of the competing uh, point solutions. And now we spoke about SOAR. But one thing we have not touched is the network. I see a lot of log activity. All right, no doubt about that. And we do some bit of analytics on that, to detect threats. But I feel that we're not probably covering the network enough. How can I monitor, or can I, first of all, with if there is any sensitive data that's being exfiltrated on my network, Pradeep? Is that something that you can help with, or something you've thought about?
Yes. So, Kapil, this is a pertinent question, and this is one of the most critical
Yeah, not
situations.
surprised.
You see, yes, 99% of the cyber attacks traverse through the network in some way,
Hmm.
right? Now, where do you detect that? So you can detect an activity on your endpoints if an endpoint is getting compromised. If it's originated on the cloud, you can detect it there. Okay, you can detect it, within your enterprise environment. What if you miss it out on an endpoint, right? Or what if you are not able to detect in a cloud environment, right? You're not able to monitor your cloud, platform.
Yeah.
How do you miss it there? What is one point where you can actually tap and capture all this information? All right,
Hmm.
that's network. Network cannot lie, right? That's what we generally say. See, what happens is typically in a classical SIEM platform, SIEM tool leverages mostly on the event data, right? Any activity is supposed to create an event in the system, right? It is supposed to leave some traces in the system. It's like a
Yeah.
thief which is entering your house, supposed to leave some trace. But the smarter this advanced attacks are capable of removing its own traces. So which means most of the advanced malwares doesn't leave any log activity, right?
Hmm.
The faster than it creates the logs, it deletes those logs,
Right.
right? So what happens is, one, it doesn't leave any event information. Most of them can remove its own traces, right?
Yeah.
Second, some of the threats actually moves laterally within the organization, right?
All
So
the
it
time.
doesn't mean that if you try to tap it on an endpoint, it may not even hit an endpoint, right? So now the third and most critical thing happens is that some of the data exfiltration on the advanced attacks that can happen like moving out a 5 MB Excel file. It may be sending information in bits and pieces in terms of bits of information, right? Sending to different command and control centers. Now, how do you keep track of it? How do you detect it, right? But one point, anything that traverses through the network, as I mentioned earlier, 99% of the traffic touches the network. So the right place to catch is the network. So this is something that Gartner has come out in 2019, where it says three aspects to the SOC visibility triad, right? One is your SIM and UBA platform, your user behavior and anomaly detection platform. Second, your endpoint detection and response platform. So the third one, which is the network detection and response platform, all right? That is equally important. So without the NDR, without having a monitoring on the network, looking for anomalies in the network, your visibility is incomplete, right? So you will not get the complete visibility of what is happening in your environment without monitoring the network, which is why network detection and response is super critical. IBM NDR, which is a set of platform which a lot of our critical infrastructure customers, critical banking customers use, does leverage on our AI and ML capability to detect those anomalies in the network, right? Any malware traffic is happening, okay? Any compromises that is happening, any data exfiltration is happening, any critical data that has been exfiltrated, and doing a cross correlation of this with other activities in the SIEM platform. So with the endpoints, with the SIM, with the user's activity and the network gives you the complete visibility, right?
Yeah.
So that is why it is critical to keep the SOC as well as the network monitored.
That's a
Yes,
very
Gaurav.
well made point, Pradeep. I think while you were talking, I was thinking, not having the ability to monitor the network is like not having a CCTV in today's time, right? You can't leave things to chance. So that's a very well made point, Pradeep. Thanks, I really appreciate. Now, all this, I think it's coming out very well. I'm kind of getting clear on how and where we want to move forward. But there's one more thing that's doing a lot of news rounds today. Every day, almost every other day, you pick up the newspaper and what you hear is about some kind of ransomware attacks, whether it's global or many in India. Uh, you know, and that puts a lot of pressure on our team. The board asks a lot of questions. Our leadership team asks a lot of questions. Is there a way we can find out proactively, and it might sound very pessimistic, but we can proactively find out if I'm affected? You know, Anything that you have on there?
Yes, so this is exactly where the threat intelligence comes into picture. So idea is to get an information when there is something get detected on some other part of the planet, right? So some of these malwares are originated in some geography, and within no time it hits you. Right now, we as a nation and as some of the one of the fastest growing economy are very well connected to the global market, right? So it's a matter of time that if something has been originated somewhere, it's a matter of seconds that will know you are part of it, right? Any malware campaign, if you look at it, you have a compromise case, or there is no nation, no geography which is isolated from a malware campaign, right? Somewhere it will hit you. Now, how can we protect against that? Is ideally to get the visibility at the earliest. Okay. Now, three things which are very critical. One, to have the visibility on global threat intelligence. What is happening across the globe, right? Which is the new malware that is getting detected. Second, whether those malware are relevant for you. Is it a priority for you? There are malware, there are incidents, there are compromises happening, every hour or every minute there are incidents happening. You cannot keep track of all these things. Is it relevant for you? Okay, is it a priority for your organization? Right. Third is to identify and act on those threats which is in your environment, right? Is it already present in your environment? Maybe it has been sitting in your environment for weeks together, months together, right? How am I going to identify those IOCs, indicators of compromise, right? And the fourth is to get more and more visibility from third parties, right? It is not advisable, while IBM being one of the largest threat research platform, what we call it as our threat intelligence insight or X-Force. It's one of the largest platform with billions of endpoints being monitored at a time. That's no, we still don't say that no, we are complete, right? We must be missing out on something. So it is critical for us to make a platform ready for taking intelligence and working with other platforms as well, third-party intelligence as well, right? So these four aspects are super critical. Having the complete visibility of whatever is happening, making sure that that is relevant in your organization, identify which is already present, okay, and what we call it as am I affected. There is a particular tool that we have introduced which will continuously search in your environment to see whether you are affected for on that particular IOC. Is it already there? It's a continuous activity to search across your platform, across the tools to see is that particular IOC present in your system, right? So that's a level of automation that we have brought in to see whether those IOCs that are critical is it present and what action can it take. right, Kapil? So that's the way IBM addressed the situation of bringing the global intelligence.
No, this is helpful. You spoke about threat intelligence, Pradeep, but what also increasingly becoming important today is artificial intelligence, AI. So how can we really use AI, how can AI help in threat investigation? That's something which I get asked a lot, from my management.
Yeah. See, as ML and AI are one of the buzzwords, and we are trying to apply it everywhere that is possible, right? It could be any part of your organization's operation, right? So in the same way, we are also trying to leverage heavily on IBM's AI capability. IBM, as you are aware, one of the leading players in the artificial intelligence, right? We leverage heavily on the Watson platform. Watson is IBM's AI platform, and there is huge investment and research happening in this area. That's when IBM introduced IBM Watson Advisor, which was introduced a couple of years back. And we have made it more customizable and easy to consume for the customer and introduced it as threat investigator. The idea is here is to leave the job of enriching, doing research about the threat indicators, okay, googling around, finding out what is happening, right? I have some information. Is it what I see, or is there something beyond this? This is all manual activity at this point of time, right? And analysts have to sit on the console, use some search platform to find out, okay, what is it all about, right? I will Google around to find out, okay, is it already present? That job of hunting, that job of investigation has been given to the AI platform called the Threat Investigator. So the Threat Investigator introduces an automated alert investigation platform. Okay. So for example, if something has been identified in your environment, the Threat Investigator platform will run a continuous investigation in the system and trying to get more and more information and give you an actionable insight, telling you, see, I have identified this. This is the action that you need to take. And as I get more and more information about it, okay, I will be able to provide you more and more actionable items to you. Prioritize what needs to be done. That activity, okay, threat prioritization activity, instead of human beings deciding that, the L1, L2, L3 analyst deciding, okay, this is my priority. Watson decides this is your priority based on the artifacts. Okay, it investigates not just alone in Curator, because our earlier Watson platform was mainly focused on Curator platform. Threat investigator using the capable, the capability for open integration can search across your other tools, search across your cloud platforms, again across your patch management platform, EDR platform, to see what is the relevance of all this information and what is the most critical one I need to address. Second, it gives you more insights on, suppose there is a malware that has been detected. One, it will help you to identify what more is present in the system. How do I identify, is it all what I see, right? It will help you into do detailed, deep analytics, investigation to see, okay, what you see is not what it is. There is much more beyond this. Okay, maybe it was already present in the system for the last 3 months, and what action needs to be taken, right? And it creates a workflow automatically to take an action. So basically, trying to eliminate certain extent of L1 and L2 activities and giving them more intelligence to take an action. So that's what IBM's AI platform does, what we call it as IBM Threat Investigator.
Okay. So, so what I understood, Pradeep, if I were to summarize, you're saying it can reduce what takes hours today to probably minutes,
Exactly. Our uh, main motto for this, with the introduction of threat investigator is from 3 hours to 3 minutes.
Oh wow.
Okay.
Yeah.
Which means something that on an average, this is a case study. This is a case study we have done for one of the large organizations, where a set of activities and investigation activities, which will take an approximate of 3 hours, has been completed within 3 minutes.
That's
and
awesome.
Giving the job action taken to the SOC analyst instead of wasting time on investigation.
Yeah, that's how, in today's world when everything is actually being taken over by AI, that's how it should be. Why should security stay far from AI? So great. Okay. So Pradeep, this was exceptionally helpful. I first of all appreciate you, you know, uh, you know, turning up at such a short request, and then, sharing all these brilliant insights, which I, as a QRadar customer, definitely find very valuable. We've been, like you said, we've been working together for years now. Now, what are next steps for me really? How do we exactly find what the gaps are? We spoke about a lot of things. How do we take it to the next level of depth, understand which use cases and requirements we need to modernize our SOC, in today's world. And how do we bring some of the capabilities that you've spoken about, test them in our environment? Pradeep, any thoughts on that?
Yeah. So Kapil, we have been working very closely with all our customers, right? And something that we have been doing with some of our largest customers is to do a continuous assessment of their current set of deployment. Okay, what we call it as QRadar value assessment, QVA. So essentially, what we do is we spend time with the SOC team as well as your current deployment of QRadar. It could be QRadar, it could be our SOC platform and all the components around QRadar to do an assessment of what is the current deployment status, right? What is the health of this? That's the first thing to see. Like you undergo a regular health checkup every 6 months to identify, okay, is there any symptoms, right, which I need to be careful about. We do an assessment of your current deployment health, right? Is there something alarming, right? Is there something that you need to have an immediate attention on the platform? Second, providing an actionable report on how to fine-tune your existing QRadar deployment, right? How to bring efficiency to the platform. Maybe certain hardware needs to be enhanced, okay, upgraded, and how do you optimize your performance? Third is around IBM is releasing at least one new version in every 3 months, right? While our recommendation is to go for an upgrade in every 6 months. Not every customer will be following that for multiple reasons, right? So we actually look at the current deployment versions, current status, and give a recommendation. See, these versions are already available to you, okay, and these are the capabilities is already available on the platform which you are not utilizing. So we are not talking about a new investment. We are talking about leveraging in your current investment, making maximum out of the current investment, okay, without buying additional licenses or capability. Why don't you enable these features, right? Why don't you enable these applications? It could be your MITRE framework mapping. It could be user behavior analytics. It could be your integration with cloud platforms like AWS or Azure, or your SaaS platforms, but enabling some of the out-of-box use cases. So we do a comprehensive analysis and tell our customers that, okay, we can help you sit with your team to see what are the things you can do on the current SOC. Okay, it could be some of the new integration. You would have bought some new tools, new technologies. How can we do an integration with the QRadar and find out how do we bring that into the visibility part of it, right? And the last and the most important part is the roadmap, right? What is lying ahead for you as a QRadar customer, right? What are the new things that we are bringing up, right? How can you leverage on the capability that is coming up? It could even be you are already planning to invest on a new technology, and you may end up finding that without investing much, you will be able to make use of those capabilities. Right. I have a classical case where one of our largest banking customers, where they were actually planning for a UBA tool, right, user behavior anomaly, without even knowing that IBM provides UBA out of box without any licensing, right? It took 1 week of our expert labs to sit with them and enable the UBA, where without much of additional effort, the data has already been captured, it's been normalized, it's been processed. All what was required is to fine tune it to make sure that you have the user activities being captured, right? So it can be as simple as that, right? So we do this curated value assessment with our customers, and we request all of our customers to make use of this. We do it with the help of IBM team. We do it, carry this out with the help of some of our technology partners. Some of our business partners are capable of carrying out the activity. So they will do the activity. They will also tell, see, these are the steps you can do. These are the changes you can make. Okay, these are the advanced use cases you can leverage on, and they can even help you deploying it for you, right? So there are different modes of doing it. So, and I would like to share my colleague's email ID, Kunal Shyam. Kunal is part of our threat management team, where you can reach out to him if you want to leverage on the capabilities, if you leverage on the service. Okay, please reach out to us for any kind of support required on this platform. Kapil.
Okay, so I see Kunal's email ID. Uh, and
Yeah.
it's also popped up on the chat. So Pradeep, again, this was very helpful. Thank you. I hope I learned a lot, and I see a clear value in going for something like a curated value assessment. I hope our audience enjoyed it as well. Uh, I'll hand it back to Prasad, and I'll want to thank you one more time, Pradeep, for your time and for your inputs.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Kapil. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you, Kapil and Pradeep. I have realized the solution to middling webinars is a dynamic role play like this. It's a qualitative methodology that simulates conversations when true immersion is not an option. The role play session looked very lively. So let's make it a little livelier with polls. What we're going to do right now is we're going to launch 3 questions for our attendees. All you have to do is select the appropriate response and click submit. We'll give you 45 seconds to 1 minute to answer these questions. So make sure you select the appropriate response and click submit. Can we have the first poll, please? So this is our first poll question. What is your single biggest SOC challenge? Lack of actionable real-time visibility, slow speed of investigation, too many security tools, manual incident response activities. I request the attendees to select the appropriate option. We still have 30 seconds with you. What is your single biggest SOC challenge? Last 10 seconds. Okay, I think we have had enough time. Can we please flash the results? Okay. Like you see, we have received responses to the poll question. At the top of it, lack of actionable real-time visibility. Then comes too many security tools, slow speed of investigation, and manual incident response activities. Okay, so we had the responses to our first question. Can we please have our second poll question? Okay, so here's your second poll question. Are you considering modernizing your SOC with XDR capabilities? Yes or no? Request the attendees to please select the appropriate option. You have 40 seconds with you. The second poll question is flashed right on your screen. Are you considering modernizing your SOC with XDR capabilities? Yes, no. Okay, we'll have 15 seconds more. Ten seconds, and then we can flash the results. Okay, can we have the results, please? So you see there, 74%. 74% of our attendees wish to modernize their SOC with XDR capabilities. Fine. Let's move to the third question. Would you be interested in taking the Q radar value assessment for no charge? QVA here stands for Q radar value assessment. Would you be interested in taking the Q radar value assessment for no charge? Yes, no. We'll give you 45 seconds. The QVA abbreviation here stands for Q radar value assessment. Twenty seconds. Would you be interested in taking the QVA, Q radar value assessment for no charge? I think we are touching time. Can we close this? We're not flashing the results. Can we please close this? Excellent. It likes a good percentage of you have responded. We will have to close the poll now. Thank you, Kapil, and thank you, Pradeep, again. I think it's time for a Q&A session. We have a question from one of our attendees here. I'll direct the question to Mr. Pradeep. Pradeep, the question is, what is NDR? Let's make this. Could you just give us insights about what is NDR, or NDR versus XDR, which is best for cybersecurity? You could just give us, understanding the lines between all the EDR, NDR, TDR, XDR for our audiences.
Yeah. So I will, before I jump into what is NDR, see, there are different aspects, that is different part of your NDR security infrastructure. You capture the endpoints, you capture the network traffic, you have capture the events and flows. EDR stands for endpoint detection and response. NDR stands for network detection and response. So it's something similar to what we used to call in the past as NTA, network threat anomaly, network behavior anomaly detection, NBAD, right? Fundamentally, that has evolved from just behavior anomaly detection. What we are talking about when we say NDR, network detection and response, is to find out the anomalies in the network, okay, cross correlate, okay, and do an investigation on that and respond to them, right? So NDR is nothing but detection and response on the network anomalies. So it could be identifying your network, identifying your malwares in your network. It could be some of the data exploitation attempts, right? And there are so many of the different use cases that you can identify. Some of the threats can be identified only by tapping into the network traffic, right? NDR is nothing but monitoring your network, going to doing deep packet inspection to find out anomalies and respond to that. It's not just the detection part of it, it's a response to that, right? So I hope I addressed that question of network detection and response.
Yes, thank you, Pradeep. We have second question from our audience. Is this available in SaaS model?
Yes, most of the technology that we are talking about here are available in SaaS model. There are certain technologies like in a part of the NDR, which is deep packet inspection, are available only on premise because of the heavy lifting that is required. But when it comes to XDR, when it comes to security orchestration, automation, and response, EDR using our reactor. So net almost entirety of your XDR platform is available on premise, is available on the cloud, and all these platforms, all this technology that we are talking about are designed on a platform called IBM Cloud for Security, which is cloud is nothing but we are talking about public cloud, we are talking about hybrid environment, right? You need not be completely on SaaS, completely on premise, right? It could be a mix of that. So to answer your question in short, yes, the solution is applicable on SaaS, solution is applicable on premise, and the solution is available as hybrid.
Excellent. Thank you, Pradeep. I think you have made it amply clear for everybody here, not just through your presentation, but also through our interactive sessions. So if I had to give a rundown of this very novel and innovative role play webinar that we have done, that IBM's QRadar XDR unifies and extends detection response capability across multiple security layers, providing security teams with centralized end-to-end enterprise visibility, powerful analytics, automated response across the complete technology stack. So its deep security experience and pedigree not only stands out from the crowded field, and of course, with all these attributes that you're having, CISOs looking for, if they're looking for an enterprise class XDR solution, they should assess QRadar XDR IBM's, which can help them address their needs, because the future is certainly an XDR driven future, and the future of XDR is now. So I think we're done with the session. Thank you, Kapil and Pradeep, for this very novel role play. And thank you everyone for attending today's webinar. Once you leave today's webinar, you will receive a survey or feedback form on the presentation. And we would really appreciate if you could complete that and provide us your feedback. You will also receive a follow-up email within 24 to 48 hours with a recording of the webinar. On behalf of SMEVenture, IBM, and our presenters, Kapil and Pradeep, thank you for joining us today. and have a great rest of your day. Thank you, Kapil. Thank you, Pradeep.
Thank you, Prasad. Thank you, everyone who participated. Thanks, Kapil.
Thank you, Pradeep.